All right, I've got our 2020 all-wheel drive crew cab Transit. Just wanted to follow up in case anybody else is following in my footsteps and is working on any kind of camper conversions. So I pulled out the stock seats. As you can see, the seat rails 1, 2, and 3. Can already see if test fitting some of the mini cell foam in between. And I've got all my measurements. I'm working my piece of wood to start placing it down here. I've also installed rails I got off eBay for a second row seat. Of course, I use grade 8 hardware, and I have big backing plates on them as well on the underside. I was actually able to locate 2 of the holes under what are basically untapped factory locations for that more or less match up with the holes up front here, which was very easy to help me keep it directly in line and straight. There were no holes for this one, but it was plenty easy to find locations for those that match. And I made it just far enough back that the seat is also able to switch around and reverse. So I highly recommend that if anybody wants to do that. I've installed a little L-track here for whatever we might need to do for bike racks or whatever. And just kind of give you a quick idea. Here's the piece of Baltic birch I am cutting. These are the tracings of the seat rails I'm about to cut out, which I recommend making a little cardboard cutout so you can trace them. Hopefully we'll get it in the right place, and we'll see what the floor looks like once I get it down. I'll be doing 2 layers of the mini cell foam. The thinner stuff, I believe it's 0.4 inches to fill in the gaps here. And then I think it's 1/2 inch to go on top of that, and then the wood will go on, which hopefully I think should keep these rails, which I put directly on top of these. They should be just recessed a little bit. So we'll see how my measurements all work out. There's all the seats out of the van, which, by the way, if you haven't had them yet, are insanely heavy. So good luck with that, and we'll see where we end up. All right, here is the rough cut piece of wood for the front cargo area. This is upside down at the moment. Things I would change in retrospect is my rear added seat rails cut into this 2 centimeters. So I would have just cut the whole thing 2 centimeters shorter, so it would end right there, but not a big deal. So we'll get this put in and see if it's fitting now. I did have to go back a few times and make a couple little small trims in here. Hopefully you'll measure better than I do. Here we've got it placed in here. I have a couple more very tiny little trims I have to make. I'm just making little marks with a marker to trim these out a little bit better. Then we'll get all the edges sanded. Next, after that, we'll treat with polyurethane, and we'll get it back in. I am going to use just a couple screws in each board to hold them down, because I'm not going to have furniture, or I guess furnishings, holding them down right away. All right, here I have the front crew cab part of the floor installed. Definitely had a few other challenges. Making sure the seat rails fit without rubbing was definitely tough to get in there. It took a lot of small adjustments. And certainly it's not exactly perfect, but I'm going to fill in those spaces all around there with caulk once it's finally installed. Then I also realized that the edges in here were going to be unsupported by anything but foam, so I found some wood. 3/8 in this case was the same thickness as the final thickness of all the foam. So I used some wood blocks around here. You can see I've also caulked around there. I made a wood strip here and here. And there's also a wood strip running under the entire front edge as well. Again, at the moment, this is just sitting here. I'm not quite certain what I'm going to do to finally secure it down. I'm probably going to put probably 4 screws in each panel just to hold them down in some riv nuts, or cross nuts rather. Hopefully this will give you a little bit of insight as to what you might be looking forward to when you do it. I will have to trim this piece of trim over here, as well as this one on this side a little bit, which in retrospect would have been nice to know early, but it's hard to see how tall it was going to be until it was all together. And I'm not quite certain what I'm going to do up here yet. The front edge. You kind of see my wood strip down there. I know it's blurry, but that will eventually get some caulk on the front side, and and then I might make some sort of filler, something to kind of fill that space and make it a more natural transition.